straight jet. Engines are overloading. More power.
We're superheating. Intermix temperature 7,400 degrees. 7.5. 7.6.
Sorry, we haven't got much time left.
8,000 degrees. 2,000 degrees above maximum. 8.4. 8.5. 8.6. She'll go soon.
Now, Mr. Sulu, impulse power 2.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to Newbie Mtn Bike Love. I'm Scott Higgins. Hope everything's going well for you. Thanks for tuning in. A while back, I did a video on an road bike. So I had some folks ask me, okay, this is Newbie Mtn Bike Love, not Newbie Road Bike Love. So what about those electric mountain bikes? So this is for you. So sit tight, hang on, watch to the end, subscribe, like, comment. I do want to say this about electronic mountain bikes. They are here to stay. So it is worth considering getting one because they're not going anywhere. They're only going to get more high tech. They're only going to get better. The technology is growing in leaps and bounds. So they're only going to get more fun.
More power. More power. More power. More.
Again, I'm Scott, Newbie Mtn Bike Love. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please, please, please always leave some sort of comment for me. That really helps elevate my YouTube algorithm where other people around the whole country or the whole world could tune in and see my channel and possibly like it, and we'll grow this thing. So, strengths. Let's look at strengths first. Normally I like to maybe eat what's bad on my plate first and say what I like to the end, but today we're going to go with what I like and what other people like and these strengths on these e-mountain bikes. One thing, it will open the door up to riders that normally wouldn't be riding. It opens opportunities up, it opens trails up, it opens a lot of things up. It opens up a whole new world for people that, oh, I want to ride that trail, but I can't, it's too physical, it's got too many hills, or it's too technical and I don't have the power to do it. So an e-bike will open up a whole new world, really almost to everybody. It will help people ride longer. It will help people ride harder hills, harder climbs, harder trails. It will give people access to areas they've never seen before. I know someone who was in shape, they had some issues, got out of shape 1 year, the next year couldn't get back in where they were older, got an e-bike, and then all of a sudden they're like, I don't remember this part of the trail. So opens up a whole new world. E-mountain bikes will also help people on those slow days. Yes, that's right, slow days when you're either trying to recover from a hard day or you are trying to keep your heart rate low for some other reason. Sometimes for maybe some sort of a doctor's order reason. If you had some kind of heart issue, you can't get your blood pressure up or your heart rate up so high, you can get an e-mountain bike. And again, opens up that whole new world. You can go mountain biking now. An e-mountain bike will help you ride with younger, stronger, fitter riders. Maybe those riders you could have hung with 10 years ago, now you can hang with them again. Even I, on this video today, am riding with a rider less than half my age. I know you're thinking, gosh, you can't be that old. How could anybody be half your age? What are they? Are they 5? Oh, you know better than that. And another strength is you can ride more often. Doesn't that sound like fun? You won't be as exhausted from the ride you had yesterday where you're having to recoup and rest. You can just add a little more power and still go riding again today.
More power.
And most e-bikes in the $2,500, $2,600 to $5,000 range, they're pretty heavy, but I know that's not a strength. Hear me out. But when you engage just the first level of assist, you can't really tell how heavy that thing is. It actually handles quite well. Now, but if you can afford it and spend a little more money, some of these mountain bikes weigh up in the upper 30s in poundage. So that's just less than 40 pounds. Now these bikes are playful and they climb great and they handle great and they're even more fun. Like again, a little more investment, but you do get more for your money. So lighter bikes are available. The bike I tested today is like 53 pounds, I think. So, but you can get lighter ones and it does make a big difference in the quality of the ride. But at the same time, the one I tested over 50 pounds was fine, handled just fine. Another strength of mountain bikes is you can run wider, beefier tires, because think about it. One reason why people don't run wider tires is because it adds extra weight. The benefit of a wider, beefier tire is not worth the cost of added weight, but with an mountain bike, you don't have to worry about weight. So you can run a wider, beefier tires that they'll give you great traction. They'll go through soft spots, mud spots if there are any, although I don't recommend riding on any muddy trail that might wreck the trail because that somebody has to come back behind you and fix it. But if you happen to come across a soft spot or maybe it's sticks and roots, those big beefy tires will just glide right over that. Another great strength is you can get help a lot quicker. If you find yourself deep in the woods and there's an emergency, you can get out of there, put that thing on high, the most highest level of assist, and you can go get help quick for you or for a friend. And mountain bikes are growing in popularity. They even have their own print magazine. So they're not going anywhere. So have this quote from Enduro Mountain Bike Magazine. Not an e-bike magazine, but Enduro Mountain Bike Magazine. I'll read it to you. An e-mountain bike pushes the limits of time, motivation, and strength after a long day at work and opens up many new possibilities. It's the ultimate versatile weapon. I agree with that. Another strength for most people is there's about a 2-hour limit on most batteries for these things. And most people don't ride longer than 2 hours anyway. So it is a strength because you can ride up to 2 hours. Most times when I go out and ride my normal bike, my analog bike, well, that makes people upset. But when I ride a real mountain bike, that makes other people upset. When I ride this bike, doesn't have electronic assist. But 2 hours is about it because you are mountain biking on these electronic mountain bikes. It does take some strength and dexterity and some concentration and focus, and it uses your whole body still. And another strength, let's see. There's 3 things left. It's a fun. Now, life's not all about fun, but I gotta tell you, these mountain bikes are fun. Now, I must speak of weaknesses. That's right. And one of the weaknesses goes along with one of the strengths. Opens up doors and opportunities to people that wouldn't ordinarily have them. So, yeah, that's a strength. But it also can be a weakness. If a rider gets in a trail over their head, that's a weakness. Because, again, the mountain bike is primarily a mountain bike. And it being electronic, an e-bike does not help if you don't have the technical skills to be on that trail. So it really, people think they might be a little better mountain biker than what they really are. So I really recommend anybody that gets one of these to really hone in on mountain bike skills, take some classes. I offer mine, switchback mountain biking, and there's other great ones out there. So get yourself some lessons on how to ride that bike, where to put your body on the bike, how to ride various terrain, how to brake correctly, how to steer the thing correctly, how to do bike body separation. There's all these things to learn, but once you get them, you got them. And it translates from a non-E mountain bike to a E mountain bike. So it's skills you'll take with you the rest of your life. Another thing, when somebody gets in over their head, a lot of it comes down to, like, if you have a really steep section, they're going up and they hit a lower gear, because you have to switch gears. Switch to a lower gear where they're climbing, and then they'll max out the power to the top. Well, that's a lot of torque. Once they get to the top, and level out, that thing still wants to go. And it caught me a couple of times. I was like, ooh, got to be careful. It'll try to just take you straight when you're trying to turn to a corner. So something to be aware of. It's very manageable, but again, it does take some mountain bike skills, and you have to learn the nature of the bike. And being heavy, there's a whole nother thing about this. You've got to transport this bike. Now, if you can't afford the 7 or 8 grand bike that weighs in the upper 30s, then you have to go for something that's in the 50s or more. Well, the racks, most bicycle racks were not built to carry a 50 pound bicycle, but they do make specific racks for heavier bikes that you'll have to use. Or you could put it in the back of a truck with the cover on the tailgate, like I've showed you before in my bike rack song. Check it out. So you can put it in the back of a truck. The problem is you're lifting 53 pounds up over the tailgate of a truck and letting it sit. And it's quite strenuous. And after riding for a couple of hours, 53 pounds, it got heavy to me, even heavier than 53. Now, don't be thinking if you buy an E-mountain bike, it's going to bring back all those glory days, the ones that pass you by, glory days. Don't think that. There are Strava times that I set several years ago in a hardtail that I really haven't touched even with an E-mountain bike. So it'll make you faster, bring back some of the legs and lungs you might have lost along the way over the years, but it's not a cure-all. You'll have to do a little bit of work. Another weakness is what you get for your money as far as components go. And it's really apples to oranges though. Like let's say you have today I test a Giant Trance full suspension. It retails for $5,000. Now they make a Talon that's $2,600, so don't have to spend $5,000. But I tested one that retails for $5,000. Now the Trance that's not electric is about $2,600. Well, the thing is this $5,000 e-bike compared to the $2,600 non-e-bike, you got to be careful, because what can happen is that you'll have better components on the $2,600 bike, and you'll have a little less components on a $5,000 mountain bike. That happens quite often. You have to learn your components when you learn about these bikes. You're not just studying battery and wattage and power and torque and all those numbers you want out of an e-bike. When you start crunching numbers, you also want to look at what brakes do they have, double piston, single piston. What component group do they have? Is it a one-by system? How many gears are on the back? 10, 11, 12? Is it a SRAM, SX, NX, GX? Or is it Shimano? Can you get XTR? Is it Dior? And there's different various, I know that's a lot of information. That's why it's good that you check it out and get the numbers down. What component set are you getting for your e-bike? And it might be worth spending an extra $500 to get better components, because they're going to last you a little bit longer, and they're going to hold their shifts a little better and just work a little better for you. And if you don't know what you're looking for, that's where your local bike shop comes into play for you. You can go in and ask them, hey, here's what I want to do with it. Here's the budget. What can you get me? And let's talk about these components. And any good local bike shop will say, all right, here's what you get for your money. And here's the component group. Here's kind of how it ranks. But here's an upgrade if you can. Now, one of the other weaknesses is, remember, it's an electric mountain bike, and you're in the woods, and a lot of these are heavy. Like I said, 53 pounds or so. And if that battery goes dead on you, if you didn't pay attention to it, well, then you're walking or you're riding a 53-pound bike out of the woods. That's not a lot of fun. So you got to keep an eye on the battery, which is kind of a chore. You have to keep watching the dots in the battery level. Along those lines, you are dealing with an electronic instrument. A lot of people mountain bike because they want to get away from the electronics. They want to get away from having their lives plugged into something electric or something digitized. They just want to be out in the woods and experience nature, and that it kind of, muddles everything when you bring electronics into it. They don't even really want a phone with them, although they should at least take a phone with them. There's one more thing you have to plug in. So if you're trying to unplug, here's one more thing to plug in. It's something that you need to be mindful of. Now, you can buy extra batteries just so you know, and keep one charged up and then keep one on the bike and always have them kind of ready to go. And then on longer rides, just swap out batteries as well. So that is an alternative if you want to put longer miles in and not have to worry about it as much. Especially if a 2-hour ride time is a weakness for you. You want to ride 4 hours, or you're going camping and you want to ride 2 days in a row and there might not be any place to plug in, then you definitely want to get an extra battery. But that's doable. You can get an extra battery and find a way to carry it. Maybe the last weakness that really doesn't matter is purists will sneer at you, and people tend to think that e-mountain bikes are like motorcycles and you're going to tear up the trail, that you're going to be spinning out like you just hit the gas and just slinging mud everywhere and tearing everything up. And that's really not the case at all. There's just not that much torque in these things to be able to do that unless you're spending like a lot of money, 8, 9, 10 grand. It may make some out there that can get up 50, 60 miles an hour, which is ridiculous. This mountain bike I rode today assists me up to 20 miles an hour. And again, it's not a magic pill. It's 30%, 60%, 100% multiplying the power that you put, some 200, 300% multiplying the power. But it's nothing that's so instant where you just jerk yourself back like riding a motorcycle. Not at all. So, should you buy an e-mountain bike? Well, there's some things to consider. How do you ride? How often do you want to ride? Who do you ride with? And what do you want from your riding? So those are questions you should ask yourself. Now let's go in deeper into those things. Ask yourself these questions. How often do you want to ride? If you want to ride often and you don't want to be wore out and tired all the time, it's worth considering an e-mountain bike. Are you considering buying a second bike? An e-mountain bike comes in handy. Because say you can ride your normal bike one day and then you want to ride again, and I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to have a little more fun. Then you can get on your e-mountain bike. Worth considering. There is a saying in the bike world, speaking of second bikes, for those not familiar, where you ask a cyclist, how many bikes do you own? They'll say N plus 1. N means the number of bikes that they own. Like right here, you might say, I own 1, I own 2. There's another one there, that's not mine. I own 2 plus the one I'm thinking about. So it's 2 plus the one that I want to add to my stable. And another question I have on whether you should get one, do you want to stay fit? I know you're probably thinking it's an e-mountain bike. I don't have to work or ride, but you will have to work and you will have to ride. And you will ride more often when you get one, if you get one, which will help you stay fitter. How's that for a switch in reality? You're going to have power assist,
More power.
but since the power assist is available to you, you're going to ride longer and you're going to ride more often because it's so much fun and you won't be as wore out. So you'll really build more stamina and burn even more fat with an e-mountain bike. So you'll get a great aerobic workout pretty often, every how often you go. And remember this, mountain biking in general works your whole body. So you'll get a full body workout, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, ever how often you can go. How long does it take to charge the battery? 6 hours, most times 7 hours, maybe 8 at most. Most of them are 6. So you can ride every day easily. Another question is, if you ride with a group of friends and you find yourself that you keep falling back from the group and you can't keep up with them and they keep waiting on you. Now, mountain bike is a different sport than most sports. I believe we wait on each other mountain biking because it's a more camaraderie than some exercises you do. We're not out to just beat each other. We're out to help each other grow. So people do wait. But if you're tired of people waiting on you and you've missed a step, maybe you're busy. Maybe you can't go out and ride the 2 to 3 times a week it takes to maintain your fitness. And you just want to, I just want to go out and ride uphill, up the mountain on a Saturday and can have fun going down. I don't have time through the week to stay in all this bike fit shape. Well, e-mountain bike would be your answer. because it'll help you get up the assist up the mountain to the top of the hill and have fun descending down, and you can stay with your friends the whole time. One complaint in bicycling is that people don't have time to do that and also spend time with their family. Well, really, an e-bike could help you spend more time with your family, because one is, if you want to go for a quick ride, I mean, you can go for a quick ride and go out somewhere, hit it, and get home. And you maybe could even ride to the trailhead on an e-mountain bike pretty quick. And you could hook up a trailer to one of these things and bring your family with you when you go out somewhere. If you pick an easy trail, now easy when you're carrying kids. So an e-mountain bike can give you more options with your family. And you can go out and do your hour, then come back and take them out and go for another hour, and everybody gets a little workout in. Now, reasons to consider why you might not want an e-mountain bike. If you enjoy taking your turn and earning your downhill, then it's probably not for you. If you like the pain of a climb, a lot of people do, I enjoy it, and you just want to take your time, slow pace, look at the scenery, let that heart rate get up there and really just push yourself, then yeah, of course, an e-mountain bike might not be for you. And another reason is if you're buying on a really tight budget. Now, let's say you do have a budget of, we'll say $3,000, and you found the e-bike, the e-mountain bike, you want it, and you're like, that's in my budget. Well, there's also a little future budget you got to consider. E-mountain bikes will have more maintenance than a regular mountain bike, because there's a lot of weight and a lot of torque. There's a lot of moving parts on an e-mountain bike. There's computers involved and motors involved, so that will take a little more maintenance in the long run than a regular mountain bike. And another reason is that you will ride this e-mountain bike. It's more than a regular mountain bike because it is that much more fun and you won't be as wore out. So you're going to ride it more, you're going to put more miles on it, which means you're going to have to service it more often. So if you're the kind of rider that hates maintenance and might not have that future budget, you just want to ride it and then just chuck it and just leave it in the corner, forget it, then an e-mountain bike wouldn't be for you. And another question I have for you is, I mean, this one's kind of a no-brainer, but do you already have friends that own e-mountain bikes or are considering an e-mountain bike? If you do, then that's a win, because you can have somebody to ride with. But if you have friends that are not interested in it and they're your riding buddies you ride with all the time, then you're going to find yourself maybe riding alone a lot. So if you're okay riding alone and maybe take your time with them, then yeah, consider it. I myself, I can ride with people or I can ride alone. So in my opinion, it wouldn't really bother me either way if I wanted to get an e-mountain bike. Speaking of riding with people, in my scenario today, the video today, I'm riding with a man that's less than half my age. He's in his like mid-20s, and he's of course, mountain biking has their categories of racers, but he'll be racing Cat 2 at the U.S. Nationals in July in Colorado. So here I'm out with this kid, or this young man, and without that e-mountain bike, forget it. I never would have been able to hang with him. At the same time, me on that bike pushed him to his limit. So if you find yourself riding with someone half your age like that, it was perfect scenario. And this young man is ranked, I think it's 5%, top 5% in the state of Georgia, and top 7% U.S. So pretty quick individual that I would have bored him to tears if he had to wait on me if I was on my normal bike. Sorry, it's the facts of life. That's just how it is. And I'm okay with that. All right. Word of caution on buying an e-mountain bike, especially if you buy one online or buy a brand that you do not recognize or has components that you do not recognize on it. And they're pretty much top three electronics on e-mountain bikes are Bosch and Shimano and Yamaha. And then I know that a company called Bafang makes good motors as well. There might be a few others, but that's the top 3 to 4 that primarily you'll find on e-mountain bikes. They share those systems. be careful online, because you'll find these ads where people will go, why would you spend $3,000 on this mountain bike when we have it for $1,200? You know, the bicycle industry really just overcharge you on everything. There's so much markup on these mountain bikes that will sell to you just above cost. Well, I gotta tell you, that's a lie. There's just not that much markup on them as they make you think. So what they'll sell you is a subpar frame that's a second hand made by somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. That's just scary. And subpar motor, subpar batteries, and then the components won't really be what you need. They'll be lower end components that you won't be able to keep adjusted. They're going to break real easy on you, and the warranty won't exist at all because you bought it online. It's going to come to you in a box. You've got to pay somebody to put it together. And then what happens when you have a problem? You've got to tear it all down, box it up, and ship it back. Well, I got to tell you, goodbye. You'll never see it again. I mean, if we did, it'd be months down the line before you'd see it again. So, buyer beware, buying online. Mountain bikes in general, especially e-mountain bikes, please go to your local bike shop. Talk to them. They know the business. They understand these electric mountain bikes as well as regular mountain bikes. And, and pick their brains. Get your information. Make notes. Make an Excel spreadsheet. Figure out what you're looking for. Figure out components. Figure out battery life. Figure out torque. How all this plays in. Is it mid-drive, hub drive? Talk to your local bike shop. Don't put all that stress on yourself. Share it with them. Let them help. So we've weighed strengths and weaknesses and what you get and questions you should ask on whether you should get you an e-mountain bike or not. Hopefully this has helped answer some of your questions on what's going on here. Technology will only improve. It's really hit a milestone. Batteries are great now. They charge, they hold a long charge, they charge fairly quickly. So hopefully you've got enough information to make an educated decision, or at least you got a place to start. For me personally, the one I tested was a $5,000 full suspension e-mountain bike, a Giant Trance. I do like full suspensions. I ride a full suspension. I'm used to full suspension, so that would be what I would want. But at a $5,000 MSRP, I'm not doing that at this point. But it is so comforting to know that one day, if I don't quite have the oomph to ride the way I want to ride, and put the miles in that I want, put the time in I want on my mountain bike, that I have a great option in an e-mountain bike that I can use as often as I want. I can ride every day, every other day, or ride when I want, and I'll have that extra help. So I look forward to the future and what e-mountain bikes bring. I look forward to opportunities that they're going to bring into the mountain bike community, and if I ever need it, I know they'll be there for me. If that's what it takes to keep me moving, I will do that one day. And if that's what it takes to keep you moving, if you have opportunity and some of these reasons that we described today and some of these strengths fit your wheelhouse on what you're looking for in your mountain bike experience, then I say go for it. Get that e-mountain bike. Start doing your research. Figure out what you want. Look at your budget. How much can you afford? And what kind of return on investment are you looking for? What's worth it to you? What kind of smile do you want returned on the money you put into it? So I hope that helps today and helps educate you a little bit about some of the pros and cons and strengths and weaknesses of e-mountain bikes and whether you should get one or not, or look into getting one or not. And if you have any questions, comment section below. If you have anything you want to add it. Please add it. I need as many comments as possible. Make sure to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tell your friends. And I really appreciate you for watching this. And again, I'm Scott, Newbie Mtn Bike Love. And I hope this was helpful and that you have a great day. And I'll see you out on the trail. Bye-bye.
More power. More power. More power.